Have a seat for a second, Jason.
Thank you. Will do. Just put my notes here.
Is it coming in? So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got our next speaker this afternoon. Now, Jason Goldsworthy has joined us from Germany. He's a wonderful speaker, demonstrator, works with healing, works with trance. He is a CSNUt certificate holder of the Spiritualist National Union. And his talk this afternoon is all about you, your spirit, and your superpower. So if you'd like to welcome Jason.
Thank you. Thank you. So it's good to be here as everyone's all settling in, and this is a bit like the life part, isn't it? It's your life. Life can be a bit busy and can be a bit complicated sometimes. But when you think about life, the moment that we were born into a journey that was going to go from beginning until the end. And on that journey, we were certainly going to learn many, many things. And as a baby, the moment that divine energy entered us, we were on this journey of life. And we learnt to physically grow, we learned to walk, we learn to talk, but in the beginning we probably didn't even know when we were a baby what we were going to actually do. That consciousness had to develop within us, that intelligence had to develop within us, where our life unfolded more and more each day. And every one of us here have had the same experience growing up. The experience of learning the word no. You're not allowed to do that. We've had to learn what is right and what is wrong, what is good and what is bad. And our bodies changed and we evolved over the ages of our lifetime, day by day. And our consciousness changed, our intelligence changed, everything was changing, always moving every day. We all had that within us, that movement, and we learnt to be social with our friends. We didn't listen to no. We climbed up the slide the wrong way round, and they say no, don't do it, but we did it anyway. Yes, we did, didn't we? Because even though there was always something within our spirit that wanted to be on a journey of experimentation, where we wanted to find out for ourselves, what is this life about? I've asked myself many times in my life, what is this life about? And it's taken a lot of contemplation. And I'm sure you all have as well, haven't you? These contemplation moments of what is this life about? And so, as we're on our journey of life and we're growing as a human being, going to school, learning mathematics, arithmetic, and some subjects that you probably will never ever use again, and you think, why why, right? Because that's what education was serving you at the time. You arrived, you were served, and you finished. But you see, our intelligence changed. And I'm sure many of you in your lifetime have been asking the question, why? Or asking the question, it can't just be arithmetic. It can't just be the stuff I'm learning at school. It can't just be the work I'm doing, earning money to pay the mortgage, to pay the car payments. There must have been a part in you that said, there's got to be more to this life than just the same old, same old. As a child, I found it very difficult because I was supposed to, back then you had to like write inside of the lines and inside the box. I found that very difficult. Why inside of the box? Why not outside? I was a bit of a rebel. I thought it was why not the whole page? And in the understanding, a lot of us may have had the feeling through our schooling and growing up that we've been made smaller or different. Our ideas were, oh no, we don't do it like that, we do it like this. And so you see, in our set of education is really in many cases concentrating only on certain factors in our life, but not really opening up to the possibility of creativity and that creativity of self, you see, because you've got to fit that creativity, no matter how large it is, into a very small box. And so in our life we've had to say yes to things and do things that we maybe didn't want to do, and we've had to go through the good times and the bad times. And the good times we thought, yes, this is brilliant, I love my life, don't we? Let's celebrate, open a bottle of wine or maybe a box. Mentioning no names, but anyway, no, I didn't. But you see, also, the good times need to be celebrated because we've all experienced hardships within our lives. We've all experienced those moments within our lives where we said, why me? Why do I have to go through this? And why have I been having these struggles? And why does it have to happen one after the other? And why can't it be easy? And you're still asking that question to whatever divine you believe in, or the universe, or that energy above, and you say, why? And you wait for an answer. And sometimes it feels like an eternity that you're waiting for that answer. And things change in life, you change, you evolve from the difficulties. And as you evolve from these difficulties, you've learnt from them. You've learnt from the difficult times. You've also learnt from the good times, especially if they were too good and you needed a couple of headache tablets the next day. You learn to moderate. But you see, in life, we have these moments of goodness, we have these moments that are difficult, and we learn from every moment that we experience. I'm still asking, and what is that? What is that element of life? What is it all about? It was mentioned that in Susan's talk that we were a drop in the ocean, and I believe the ocean is the divine, and then we're that little droplet within us, and that little droplet of essence of divine. So within us is a divine self within a physical body that's experienced life. So it's a bit double, because there's that part of us that I think always questioned, it can't be just black and white, it has to be something different. It's not just about paying the payments, making sure things, the ends meet. And it can be very frustrating when you're going through difficult times, can't it? And you see, we learn from every experience. In my lifetime, I haven't had it easy in my lifetime. I've had my ups and downs. And I went back once, and I just went back through all the different parts of my life and contemplated what was I learning from that. I found out that parents do their best, but they didn't get a qualification to do the job, right? They didn't get the book that said, this is how you're going to bring up this child. This one's a bit sensitive, likes to be out of the box, and you have trouble catching them when they try to run away. You don't get that when a child is born, do you? So parents do their best. And I think these days it's quite important to know that most children grow up with some sort of trauma, because life sometimes has traumatic experiences. But you see, parents do their best, and yet we learn from what they believe. Don't put your finger in that hot oven. So what do? You put your finger in, you burn yourself, and you learn. I told you not to do it. And so you're learning from the experience. We've got like a soul expression inside of us that believes it can move, and it can move into greater spaces, and it's not just the body, but it's somewhere else. So we have this experience going on inside of us, that there's more to us than what our physical body is just showing us, and more to us than what we are experiencing within this lifetime. A self that is quite strong, a self that is really can overcome problems. And some of you may have in your life experienced difficult times and went to sleep and thought, oh, tomorrow will be better. I know I have. And learnt from the thing about the body, the self, and resilience to what's going on around us. And so our expression changes, our consciousness changes, our experiences changes. We become more savvy in life, don't we? We become more, we know, we've seen this before, we know how to deal with it. So we evolve in this lifetime. So when we go back to where we were, that childlike nature, believed in magic, ran up the stairs. Now we're like, just take my time to get up the stairs now. The evolution can pay its toll, can't it? I remember, before, when it's time, it's time to wake up. I used to spring out of bed, run downstairs to have your breakfast. Now it's like, God. Evolution physically, we feel it all. We feel it all. And then, we'll walk down the stairs, shall we? Let's walk down the stairs. We take our time because we've earned it. We've earned it. Something evolved physically within us. We've earned the privilege of being able to take our time. We've even earned the privilege to have those afternoon naps, recharge moments. There's quite a modern term for it, power naps. I'm just having a power nap. No, you're not having a sleep. No, I'm having a power nap. It's new. And you see, as we evolve, and what was mentioned also was Carl Jung. He looked at the personalities. Our personalities evolve. How we deal with things evolve as well. And in life, sometimes we can look at things and say, I wish it would go quicker. I wish it would all come my way. We'd like to have that. We'd like to have it all now. We'd like to have those experiences now. If I had all the money now, then I could have a nice, quiet, comfortable life. Then wouldn't that be good if we were all had enough and with a nice, quiet life? I know years ago, when I was younger, my daughter said to me, wouldn't it be good if we could just gather up all the money from the world, put it into one bank, and then just share it out, and everyone would have enough? So, that would be lovely. Wouldn't that be good? And that'd be really good if we could, and we could like be there for each other, helping us. It would be a beautiful picture to paint, but it isn't, because we have politics and we have things that go in life. We have the two world wars that have happened, and we have the things going on at the moment that we probably don't agree with, and things that take us out of our balance of who we are into something else that we're not. And so sometimes you can find yourself in situations where you feel, oh, I don't really like being this, I don't really like hearing this. But these bad things that happen in life, sometimes we can see them on the news and we're like, that should never happen. But on a global scale, when it's been seen by many, many people can say, oh, that should never happen. So many people learn, not just from that experience, but from the self. Who am I? What is my experience? What would I bring to the world? So this evolution of self becomes more conscious. What would I like to bring to the world? What would I like to do to bring about change in this world? Maybe when you're younger you try to say, oh, they should have been doing it differently. Oh, you're too younger. No one listens to you when you're younger and you're having your inspiration or you're trying to share it. But when you get older, you have then the ability to share things and people will listen. And then it's time where you can share it. You could share it on modern technology, like my telephone, where I put my notes down on. But you see, modern technology, you could share it on Facebook. What I like about modern technology, I could show you this, it just doesn't work when I touch it. So I could. But other things can happen as well. So when we think about your life experiences, your knowledge, what's made you who you are, what's created you, your experiences have made you the good person you are today. The things that have been good for you and not good for you, and you probably would have liked to have done without, have still moulded you to be the good person you are today. That person that really is going to be here for someone else. Most people that are compassionate for other people have had some form of problems within their life that they've had to come. It felt like walking up a mountain. It felt like really having to do that. But also in life, there's crazy things. It's like you see on the news and you see like people suddenly becoming astronauts because they've got loads of money and they go up there and they're wearing all those snazzy astronaut costumes and you think, why? How much did that cost? Couldn't they have given that to charity? These things are in this evolution of self. It happens to us all. And yet this movement within inside of ourselves, we suddenly become aware of not only you, your life, but we become aware of you, your spirit. So getting older, you notice that your body is, different. And you notice that things change, that you're taking a slower pace and things. And yet within you, you go on this self-discovery quest and you find that there's a spirit within you that is indestructible. And so there's trying to find balance between the indestructible self and the balance between the fragile self. And so you've got to nurture the fragile self and yet know that you are an indestructible self that will never die. A self that will always continue, that is bigger than your body, that is bigger than this room, that is connected to all things, And the more that we learn about quantum physics, and the more that we learn about that science is catching up, and they learn about that everything is energy and our universe is energy, and we are here and we are elements of the universe itself. They can find it within our DNA. They can find it within the elements of our body. So really we are the universe, and yet we are in a fragile body that needs to be taken care of sometimes, doesn't it? It's amazing, but it's also finding the balance. So I like to see in the way of, we always have that moment in life as spiritualists, and we always have that moment in life as a spiritual person, or I would say, like to say, we're really all investigators of life. Like mediums connect to the spirit world and they're trying to bring proof of afterlife. We should be bringing proof of life, because a lot of us are just caught up in the mundane same old and put the telly on and let's hope that tomorrow, and we end up going not expressing ourselves the way we could. That's that magic within you, your voice. And if I was to look at each and every one of you, which I am, and if I was to look at you right in the eyes and say, there's a book in each and every one of you, and yet it will never be written unless you believe. There's a song in each and every one of you, but it will never be sung unless you sing it. And there's a crazy warped sense of humour in some of you, and that's all right as well. And it needs to be expressed, because we've got a spirit droplet that's in our body that's come to this life to experience life. And then we've got to go back and say, I was there and I had this experience on life, and this is my proof that life exists. What did you do? I sat behind the telly, was on Facebook, went on TikTok, zoned out. Oh, it doesn't sound like very much experience, does it? Or would you like to investigate your own spirit and to see where your spirit goes? The moment in life that I'm talking about, has everyone seen The Matrix, where Neo's there, the character is there, and suddenly he's like, oh my God, it's not just this, everything's energy, and he starts to wake up. Have you seen it? Yeah. I thought it was a brilliant moment where he realises that in his spirit there's more greatness in him than he could ever imagine. And people could see it in him, but he couldn't see it in himself. How many times is that you, where people can see your talent in you, and yet you don't acknowledge it yourself? It happens, doesn't it? It really does. So it's starting to believe that spirit. We get to that moment of believing the spirit of self, the eternal self, the self that is indestructible, that self that will never die, that self that challenges the black and white things in life from that. It's not just black and white. It's not just the same old. Life is a continuum of energy and experience that will always change, like a river running down a mountain. If a rock fell into that river, the river doesn't go, oh my God, I need to stress out, I can't handle this. The river goes around it, over it. It's not bothered, it keeps flowing. That's life. Ever evolving, ever experiencing. And what happened in the past in our life, we might go, oh, that wasn't good. But on the other hand, you are the evolution of that. You are not the past. And you are certainly not the past ideas of what you used to have. The ideas of yesterday are oh so yesterday. Today is a new day. Today is a day where even yesterday we went to sleep. All your cells regenerated themselves, so you're not even physically the same person as you was yesterday. Your cells have changed. So there has been that river movement. and yet you wake up and do the same old in the morning, and maybe have the same ideas, negative ideas or constrictive ideas, and yet constrictive ideas, mostly when you psychologically look at them, they're from the past experiences. And those past experiences they're not going to change the way that we steer our course in life. Those past experiences we've learnt from. Today is the day that we continue that river, over that boulder, around it and down. That's what we do. Because we have the ability to change the course of our life. And the inspiration, I said, one of the abilities we have is the presence that we have. To really just be here. To step in and become. Like, many times most of us say, oh yeah, I'm really spiritual when I go to here, or when I do my mediumship, or when I go to church, or when I do that. And then the rest of the time you're like, okay, same old, and just forget about that. But why don't you take the spirit with you and be aware of the presence of that soul energy, spirit of who you are? Because then you'll be bringing a presence and a healing to the world around us. And to share your voice, to share your inspirations, to share your creativity, and for me, put it outside of the box, because I would love to put, sometimes I think canvases are not big enough for real creativity, is it? No, they're not. But you see, when you can start to believe in that part of you that can achieve anything, we're moving into that part of our lives. We say, oh yeah, I'm sure I can achieve everything, but still you need to give yourself that coaching session from, can I do it? Yes, I can do it, and that is how it works. So we have the vulnerable self, we have the eternal self. And the eternal self is screaming out for change, and for you to change, and just to express and bring that proof of life. And then Neo had his superpowers, didn't he? You've seen the film, haven't you?
Yeah.
You haven't seen the film. Have you seen the film? He had superpowers. It's a bit quiet here, isn't it? But he had his superpowers. And so he had that self to go, oh, I can do more than what I thought I could. So we're just coming to that point in the talk where I like to do a bit of interaction with you, and because I don't want you falling asleep. So, all right, he's awake. He's all right. He's awake now. Right, but you see, and that's also, isn't that lovely? The moment of, we all have it. Those moments of needing a little break, recharge, and you're back. I wasn't asleep, I was thinking. That's what my granddad used to say. I was contemplating life and the universe. I said, oh, really? Yes. I said, oh, and I believed him. So, I would like you all to stand up, for those of you that can stand up. For those that you can't, that's fine, because you can imagine what I'm going to tell you. So you've all entered my new academy now, the Academy of Superheroes. And what I want you to do is to imagine suddenly you've joined the X-Men. I don't know if you've seen the one that's all rubbery, the guy it's super rubbery, he can do anything. Fantastic Four, that's it, the Fantastic Four. And the rubbery guy, he can do anything. It's like his arms go all over the place. Well, I thought he was pretty amazing. But what is your superpower? We might find out today. So, if you just now bear with me and just put your hand out like that, pointing this way, and now stand with your feet shoulder width apart, and then just go round and point somewhere on the wall behind you. Or behind you, and just keep an eye on how far you can come and say, right, that's where I am, and then come back. Once you know Once you've got your point, so that's as far as I can go, then you know. Yeah? Okay. You've done it?
Yeah.
Now come back to the centre. Now I want you just to close your eyes. You've suddenly become a member of the Fantastic Four. You've got your kit on. You've got like the the lovely lycra stuff on, and you're in the Fantastic Four, and you can see you've suddenly become that rubber. You've got that rubber ability within your bones, within your body, within yourself. You can see that you're becoming more flexible within your body, and you are that rubber man. And now see in your mind's eye that you're doing the same exercise in your mind's eye, not in reality, but you're seeing yourself pointing out, doing the same exercise, moving your arm around, and you're going right around, and you're rubber, and your column is rubber, your muscles are rubber, and you can see that you can go a lot further, like you're going miles round. And that amazing possibility of being able to have this superpower of rubberness. Okay, I'd like you to open your eyes. Now put your hand out and go around and see how far you can get. Did you notice a change?
Yes. Went a lot
Further. I was like, well, I thought I was only there the first time, and I was there the second. I was like,
Yeah.
ooh, feeling a bit.
So there was a change.
There was a change.
It's your brand instead.
So you can all sit down again. Thank you. So you see, one of our superpowers is the ability to have control over our own bodies. If we can see it within our minds and we can imagine it, we can create it. And so if we have this ability, which we've just done, to see ourselves more flexible than we ever could be, then yes, we can do that yoga lesson, no problem, because we've suddenly become more flexible than we could ever imagine. It's a case of if we see it within our mind and we can believe it, we can create it and manifest it within our physical body and our cells. Now I mentioned about the cells because the memory in the cells is the pain from yesterday. That's one of that. I didn't mention that, but I mentioned they hold memory of thoughts and difficulties from yesterday. And those thoughts and difficulties of yesterday can be held within ourselves. But when we start to see and envision ourselves, and you can do that now, envisioning yourself as being more healthy, more flexible, seeing yourself in the light, in a healthy experience, experiencing yourself as being 100% healthy, 100% perfect, and just experiencing that in your mind. And as you open your eyes, you'll start to feel maybe the energy is different, you're feeling different, there's something different where you're feeling that this is something good. Now I've noticed and observed people, and you might observe that in your neighbour, that they end up getting more colour in their cheeks because their blood has started to go better than that. You can have a look at your neighbour, see whether their cheeks are more rosy, more red, their eyes are more sparkly than what they were before. So you see, you're tapping into the creativity and manifestation of yourself through the eyes of your mind and spirit. And so we have different gifts or superpowers, not only the one that's flexible. If you were to see it in your mind, it could be a possibility. If you were going to see a book that could be written, it could be a possibility. If you were to write down in your phone that you can't get into anymore all the notes about your talk, and just can't get into it, but you saw it in your mind and believed it, and then it would happen, you see. There was a miracle that happened the other day. My superpower is bringing cars back to life. I did it last night after a demonstration. There was someone, they had a car, they tried it, nothing worked, lights, everything, it was dead. It did not even a click, not even nothing, it was totally dead. I said, I'll have a look at it, I'll give it a magic touch. And I was only having a bit of jest, but I thought maybe if I look at it, something might happen. So I got in the car, put it in it, and all I did was put it into first, turn the key, and it started. And she was like, oh my God, it's a miracle. Said, I found a new superpower, I found a new talent. I bring cars back to life. I don't just bring evidence from the spirit world, I bring cars back as well. And you see, and it was just maybe that inkling of a joke, or that inkling of an idea that maybe if I touch it, it will work. Maybe. So if maybe can create a possibility, what can maybe do in your life? What would be your superpower? What would be your magical powers? Because when we go back to a child that they said, no, you can't go backwards climbing up that slide. You did it anyway, you could. I flew down the stairs, it was painful. But for the moment that I flew as a child, I did it. Because I used to have these dreams where I could fly, and I also had other dreams, but which were about a world where there were no boundaries, and a world where we were all connected, a world where we all had a say in things, and a world where we all felt comfortable, and it was full of love. And I was only a child at the time, and John Lennon was playing that Imagine on the radio, and I was dreaming that I was that dreamer. I was that dreamer. And back then, people didn't listen to my knowledge, because it's like, you're only 5 years old, what are you talking about? But I said, when I get older, people will listen. Maybe I'll create a little bit of change. I'd like to think that that this creates change in your life. Because when we think about the talents that you could have, or the superpowers that you could have, I think love and compassion is one of the biggest ones we can ever have within our life. And love, it can extend boundaries. I think they've measured the coherence of the heart, that it can change your brain and it can change your physiology within your body, and that if you're emanating that love expression, it can be picked up in the spirit world as well. And that's a long, long, long way away. And yet that's in the universe somewhere that can join us on that bridge of love. And yet we see ourselves as separate and individual, but with the superpower of love, you can be connected with no boundaries and yet individual at the same time. And so when we look at self-expression, and when we look at the possibilities in you, and there may be limiting things within your life that you say, this limits me, but I've seen some amazing things happen. Like internet can be a bit distracting, but sometimes I've seen some people, I've seen a guy with no arms and no legs surfing, and I'm like, how does he do it? He believed he could do it, and he could do it. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know what I would be like in that situation, but I'd like to believe that I'd be just as inspirational as him. So when you think about your superpower, we know now that you can manifest flexibility. Imagine manifesting something in your life for others. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great? I'm hearing build it, they will come, and I say, why am I going to speak about build it and they will come? But it is a saying from somewhere, isn't it?
Field of dreams.
Fields of dream, build it and they will come. And you see, that's it. If you believe in something and you start to do it. It might be built in pen to paper. A year ago, I could go on for an hour. A year ago, I had a TIA. I had to learn to walk again. I had to learn to remember again. I had to learn to. Well, first, I had to learn to let go of everything and not be able to do what I could do. And I had to let go of all my spiritual work and all my other work as well. And yet, I had to learn to go through this journey of finding myself again. And the only thing that kept me going was that belief. Because the echo in my soul and the echo in the divine was, oh, you're all right, you're just going to need tablets, you'll end up in hospital for a week, it might take a while to recover, but you'll get there in the end and it will all work out all right. And I had to believe that message that I heard, and yet step by step I grew. Step by step I healed. And every moment I took from contemplation and frustration, I took that time within me to feel it, to express it, to let it be, and to accept it as a part of my healing journey. I had to learn to be humble, very humble, because life can be very humbling when something like that happens. And then I learned step by step, if I can envision it, I can see it, I can believe it, I can do it. And one thing that I never believed in was my ability to write. And so in that period I started writing, but I couldn't write because I couldn't think properly, so I was speaking and someone was writing the bits on paper. And in me I was thinking, oh, I don't know what this is going to be. And I spoke some more, and a little bit more got written down. And now I'm 1.5 years further, and I'm writing it myself. And I never would have thought I could write again. I never even believed in the possibility of doing that. So even I had to walk the talk that I'm talking today to achieve. And so the book is getting completed step by step, just like we walk through our lives. But I had to come from a very far to believe step by step that I'd get here today, and that I could stand here and energetically do my work again. And it was my belief and my superpower of being able to see it and believe it that made it happen. And believing in the message that Spirit would say, oh, don't worry, you'll be all right. And yet sometimes life gives you, lemons, and you're like, I'll make lemonade with it, and I'm like, well, I don't really feel it. You'd like to have it differently, but you see how if I can do it, then you can do it. If I can go through a process like that, then anyone can do it. Because I came from a place also where I wouldn't stand up in a group like this because I dare not speak. I was the speaker with no voice. And yet, through learning, going to circles, practicing, saying the prayers, maybe doing a little introduction, step by step, believing, following that spirit and soul's emanation, telling me you can do it, and now has brought me here to this moment today to be able to share this with all of you. This message of believe in you, your spirit, and your superpower. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. I'm so glad you've come through that and have been with us this weekend. Who's got any questions or comments for Jason as we have a few minutes? Anything you'd like to ask or share?
I just wanted to say thank you.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Oh,
I enjoyed it.
bless. Oh, thank you.
It's okay.
Yeah.
There's that lovely thing that said, if you can see it and believe it, you can achieve it.
Yeah, yeah. Isn't
And
that
it really
lovely?
is, for all areas of our life.
Yeah,
For all areas of our life.
yeah.
Anyone else?
Very inspirational.
Yeah?
And true. We know it was true.
Yeah.
Lovely.
You could feel it. Yeah.
Resonates.
Oh, thank you.
Super.
It's It's nice when it resonates, isn't it?
Jason, thank you. Do you feel like, as in with mediumship, development of mediumship, that all of awareness of all of our senses are important? Do you feel like it's the same also for developing your own superpowers and your purpose and driving forward?
That's a lot of information. Could we take that step by step?
Sorry, yes. Whereas in developing mediumship, we go through a lot of development where we get in touch with senses of
Yeah.
ourselves, all of our senses, and we work on that. Do you think that being aware of all of our senses is quite important for the superpower?
Well, yes, I do, and I believe that some of us will call ourselves mediums and some of us won't. I believe that everyone has the ability to open up to their senses and to be able to have an experience. So when you see the six senses, I believe them in themselves are a part of our superpower, you see. For we've all been given the gift of the same chakra system, we've all been given the gift of the same energy possibilities, and we've all been given the gift of the DNA and blood that are in our body. So the elements are there for everybody, not just someone that's developing. I'm sure that the six senses are probably, or developing what you're speaking about, is a part of your journey that could open up to possibilities. And it's like opening up to what you can see. If you can envision it, it will happen. Like if you're really good at seeing with your senses, then you can create that. But even if you're not really good at seeing and you envision a possibility, you can create that superpower in yourself, that possibility. We're all very flexible now, aren't we? Yeah. Does that answer your question?
Yes,
Thank you.
And you're talking to the right person because she teaches yoga, so she's very
Does she?
flexible.
Well, put this to the test, right? And see if it assists in any way in what you do. And envision it and see what happens.
I
You
do
see.
always actually say to my yoga clients when they're struggling, I always say we imagine ourselves there.
Mm.
So when we're going to do something, we don't think like, I've got to get there, I've got to get there. It goes through this middle bit, and I'm not very good at that bit. I always say, just imagine yourself there.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Without thinking.
So there you go, see?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that helps. That helps. Yeah.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you once again, Jason.
Thank you, everyone.
So we're having about a 10-minute break back here at 2:30 when the lovely Stephen Mager is going to give us a talk.